smiled and announced, "I'll take it," with characteristic flourish. "Mom," I said, trying not to grit my teeth. But she knew better. The entire ride over, I'd been prepping her, with specific instructions on what to say, how to act, everything we needed to do to get a good deal. She kept telling me she was listening, even as she kept fiddling with the air conditioning vents and playing with my automatic windows. I swear, that was what had really led to this new car fever, the fact that I had just gotten one. So after she'd blown it, it was up to me to take over. I started asking the salesman direct questions, which made him nervous. He kept glancing past me at her, as if I was some kind of trained attack dog she could easily put into a sit. I'm used to this. But just as he really started to squirm, we were interrupted by Don Davis himself, who made quick work of sweeping us into his office and falling hard for my mother in a matter of about 15 minutes. They sat there, making googly eyes at each other, while I haggled him down $3,000 and got him to throw in a maintenance plan, a sealant coat, and a changer for the CD player. It had to be the best bargain in Toyota history, not that anyone noticed. It is just expected that I will handle it, whatever it is, because I am my mother's business manager, therapist, handyman, and now, wedding coordinator. Lucky, lucky me.
"So, Remy,"
Don said as we sat down, him in the big swiveling leather throne behind the desk, me in the just uncomfortable enough to hurry the sale chair opposite. Everything at the dealership was manufactured to brainwash customers, like memos to salesmen encouraging great deals just casually strewn where you could read them, and the way the offices were set up so you could easily overhear your salesman pleading for a good deal with his manager. Plus, the fact that the window I was now facing opened up to the part of the lot where people picked up their brand new cars. Every few minutes, one of the salesmen would walk someone right to the center of the window, hand them their shiny new keys, and then smile benevolently as they drove off into the sunset, just like in the commercials. What a bunch of shit. Now, Don shifted in his seat, adjusting his tie. He was a portly guy, with an ample stomach and a bit of a bald spot. The word doughy came to mind. But he adored my mother, God help him.
"What do you need from me today?"
"Okay," I said, reaching into my back pocket for the list I'd brought. "I double-checked with the Tux place, and they're expecting you this week for the final fitting. The rehearsal dinner list is pretty much set at 75, and the caterer will need a check for the rest of the deposit by Monday."
"Fine."
He opened a drawer and pulled out the leather binder where he kept his checkbook, then reached into his jacket pocket for a pen.
"How much for the caterer?"
I glanced down at my paper, swallowed, and said, 5,000? He nodded and started writing. To Don, $5,000 was hardly any money at all. This wedding itself was setting him back a good 20, and that didn't seem to faze him either. Add to it the renovation that had been done on our house so we could all live together like one happy family, the debt Don was forgiving on my brother's truck, and just the day-to-day maintenance of living with my mother, and he was making quite an investment. But then again, this was his first wedding, first marriage. He was a rookie. My family, however, had long been of pro status. He ripped out the check, slid it across the desk, and smiled.
"What else?"
he asked me. I consulted my list again. Okay, just the band, I think. The people at the reception hall were asking.
"It's under control,"
he said, waving his hand.
"They'll be there. Tell your mother not to worry."
I smiled at this, because he expected me to, but we both knew she wasn't worrying at all about this wedding. She'd picked out her dress, decided on flowers, and then pushed the rest off on me, claiming she needed